Good afternoon from sunny Rhode Island. I'm Gina. I'm a practitioner here, and I am the host of The Joy is in the Journey. And we are here today to celebrate life as it is right here, right now, where all of our power is. And that is the point of it, that we are here now. We only ever have now, and we get this gift to do with it whatever we choose. So, knowing that that's where our power is, being present in this moment, why not choose joy? We get to choose what we think about, what we say, what we do. These are all choices in our life. And far too often, we get caught up in the destination. Well, when I have that job, or when I've accomplished this, or when this is done, or when I look like that, or have this made, or drive that car, have that job. It's not destination happiness. Happiness is only ever in this moment. So knowing that joy is an attribute of spirit, which I am, you are, each one is, it's always accessible. And that's what this show is all about. It's not just saying be happy. We talk about how do I do that? How do I be happy more often? How do I experience the joy of spirit, the joy that I am? And I cannot think of a better guest than the one I have today. I am so grateful to have someone that I consider a friend, and of course, my classmate on our path, ministerial path in the Florida campus of the Holmes Institute. We are both seniors and getting to that point of expanding our ministries even more. And you know this beloved person because she is also a host on our network. Blessed to be here on New Thought Media. And, you know, Cosmic Prayer and Mama Power is what she hosts, and we're going to talk about all of that. Laura Topper is the guest today, and I am excited because she brings joy wherever she is. She lights up. And I'd love to say the room, but I haven't gotten a chance to actually meet her in person yet. But I feel like I have. Her energy is infectious. Her exuberance is a gift. She's on a mission to open hearts, to point humanity to love, oneness, meaning, purpose, and prosperity consciousness on the planet now. She is an amazing gift to me and to all. So I am going to be thrilled to bring in my beloved friend, and, you know, just such a gift to have you here as a co-host today. Welcome to The Joy is in the Journey.
Oh, Gina, thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction. And I just feel so... I have been looking forward to this all day. I've been like, oh my gosh, because I was out and about. I went to Brighton to see my mom, and all in my mind was, I can't wait till later. I'm going to be on Gina's beautiful show, The Joy in the Journey. I love everything that you're doing. Thank you for being here, being so present and so giving, and knowing your love that you just comes out from your heart is beautiful. So I feel very blessed and honored to be here with you today, Gina. Thank you. Yeah.
And so today's topic, which is, you know, power. I've mentioned it a few times in the intro, and it is one of those things that oftentimes we don't realize that we give it away to people. And it's not necessarily a conscious thing. And it's not something, sometimes we were taught it, we were raised that way. Sometimes society expects in different ways, or we have read it from that. Sometimes we don't realize we have a choice. And sometimes, you know, there's so many different reasons. It doesn't matter the how. All we need to do is remember that it is ours. So that is our topic today. And before I even get into that, because I know we're going to get caught up in it, and it's not necessarily on the, it's not, it definitely goes along with it. Explain Mama Power to me.
Oh, wow. This has been brewing in my heart and in my life for quite a few years now. And I think it first began probably in 2016 when I I brought a group of women together to write a book called Mama on a Mission. And for me, that was all about knowing that who we are as, this divine feminine that we truly all are, regardless of our gender, that we have this ability to tap in to the divine feminine. And so often we don't do that. We don't realize the power that we are, that we have in, here within us, waiting and ready and waiting to be used. And so Mama Power is about that. And the broadcast here is about that. And I will be bringing women onto that show also in the next few weeks. And I would really love for you to come on.
Absolutely. Anytime.
To talk, from a business perspective as well, of how we bring this divine feminine into our lives, into our business lives, and through our prosperity and our prosperity consciousness and money as well, because this is all a part of us, so that we can have this this wealth in all ways in our lives to expand, so that we can bring what we know we are here and called to bring out into life. And I know that we don't necessarily need money for that. And yet, if we do have that facility and that ability to call that into our lives, we can do many amazing things for ourselves and for others with it. So
I don't know where it came along that there is, money is not spiritual. Of course it is. It was no more less made by spirit than anything else. And
exactly.
Itself comes with some material power to be able to do what we choose to do. And
that
it's understanding that the good, let it flow in every way.
Yeah.
Just like the background we have right now, open your hands to that magic and receive in all forms, right?
Yeah, and we, what we're talking about here today is the power that's within us. And often we think, as we were talking about before, before we came on air live, that we believe that this power, that we have to be something extra special or extra kind of powerful, and to kind of be that presence. And yet that is, it's we don't even have to do anything, because it's here in us, flowing through us, wanting to express. And often we can create resistance because we believe we have to be the doers and the kind of movers and shakers, and that can mean that we're coming from a place of it's got to happen, and then there's lack in there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I wanted to just bring this forward out of what you were saying. I live in the faith that there is a presence and a power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am, by Ernest Holmes. Right where I am.
Yeah. And why is it, Gina, that we forget that? We don't always know it, and it takes a lot of faith and practice, and that's what, for me, that's what spiritual practice is here for.
Absolutely. I had a friend that used to say we have built-in forgetters. It's like we have a bucket. It's like we have a bucket he was a fisherman, and he used to say it's like we have a bucket, but it has holes in it. And by the end of the week or the end of the day or the end of whatever, it leaks. So we have to go back and resource.
Yes, resource and remember.
Yes.
Yeah, and charge back up again. Although we are always charged up, it's like that electricity is flowing through always. It's the remembering and the knowing of this power. And isn't it amazing when I feel that when we know that in our hearts, it's kind of like, I can breathe and relax.
and while we're talking about Mama Power, I have to bring, there's a song that you absolutely, I love, that you and Jason, who are now Infinity, right?
Yeah.
You perform as Infinity. I don't know if you've shown this on your show much, but I think you should. there's a song that this beautiful creator, she's not just a coach and almost minister, we'll say, almost there, but she is also a beautiful singer. And there's an amazing song, just creator. You're just such a creator. But I want to play this because it is infectious. It is so much fun. And I want people to just hear this and feel this and be in the flow of the power that comes with this. And please know that as we're playing this, throughout this time, if we talk about the feminine, there's feminine in both. It's men and women have that feminine.
Oh, yes. It's beyond the label of gender or how we perceive ourselves in a human form.
Exactly.
This is the feminine that is the yin yang. This is the makeup of who we are with the masculine and the feminine. We don't always own that in ourselves. And this is what this is all about. Yeah.
So we are claiming it right here and right now.
We're claiming it in this power.
Here we go.
Are.
Open to receive, here to be your divinity, ready to believe. Here to be your divinity, open to receive. Here to be your divinity, ready to believe. Try. be my divinity, open to receive. Here to be my divinity, ready to believe. Here to be your divinity, open to receive. Here to be your divinity, ready to believe. Here to be our divinity, open to receive. Here to be our divinity, woman of power.
You cannot listen to that and not be motivated. You just
and
can't.
not move.
You just can't. It's a song you just have to dance to. So it's one of those choices in life of we get as a gift to be in a place to know who and whose we are, to know what do I choose to think about, what do I get to do today, what do I get to work on or think about or look at. We get choices in any given day. And that's one of those things that we can go to pop into that right mood. Because if we're not there by the end of that song, you can't not know who you are. You can't help but remember the joy of. And we don't have to look like anyone else, and we don't have to act like anyone else. And the power in that song, too, that I love, especially, is everybody's from different places.
Oh,
yeah, Kenya, you had
it was so much fun.
England, and
it was last year, because we recorded the song in 2019, I think 18, and it was last year that in COVID that I just reached out to my friends and say, come on, be a part of this, and everybody just, and you were on it. It's so beautiful. It's just amazing, and it was a beautiful thing to do, to bring women together and to celebrate the power that we are. And it's that woman of power comes from Edwene Gaines, because it was Reverend Edwene Gaines that was when we saw her, when she came to the UK and she got up on the stage and she said, I'm Edwene Gaines, Reverend Edwene Gaines. I'm a woman of power, and I know how to use this power. I know how to use this power. And that was, for me, that was just so inspiring to hear somebody, not only just say, there is this power and I am a woman of power and I know how to use this power. That's real. That takes mastery, on a moment by moment basis, to know that that this power is here and we can use it. We can use it for good, for our lives. And that, I think that's quite scary as well for many people.
We are never stuck in roles. That's the thing that we have to remember. And I know you do a lot of coaching as well. And one of the things that I always start with is, who are you really? Not who, what is your role in life, but who are you really? What do you love to do? What makes you you? You're unique. There's no one like you. So what makes that? How does that work? How is that happen? Like, what does that look like to you? How do you honor yourself in that knowingness? And there's so many people that don't know how. In your experience,
and I
working with people, do they know their?
I think that there are many people that are surprised that when they even realize and discover that they are they are the ones in choice and can use this power. Because I think we get very good at masking it and hiding it and blaming others and not taking responsibility for our lives and the outer circumstance and effects of our lives and what's going on. It's very easy to kind of stay under the duvet, metaphorically, and not take that that responsibility. And I think that, you know, that's the thing about this teaching in particular, is that it calls us again and again to do just what you have said, you know, to look at who we are, truly who we are as that power, as this power, and to take charge of that in our lives and to stand up and say, okay, you know, this isn't going the way that I really want it to go, or that I'd like it to go. I want to make a change here in my life. And to come away from that blaming, that naming and blaming thing and shaming of ourselves, and just saying, okay, I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna stand in this power. And I think that can be scary for people.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a victimhood that we've been, you know, conditioned for. You know, one of the things that I've realized, you know, when we do work on ourselves, that term used, you know, was something so common to me in the past, but it's now I realize we don't have to work on ourselves. We discover things about ourselves. We reveal things. Yeah. We empower ourselves with wisdom, but we don't have to do work. We're not broken in the sense of, I think, I don't mind the term broken, because I like that the light comes in that way. It's sometimes through my perceived flaws. That's when I'm hurting, is when I reach for spirit. So there's no wrong in that. And I loved this quote from Science of Mind. It says, the language of resistance is pain, but non-resistance finds the harmony of the universe and swings into its motion, going with the stream of power which nourishes and protects. Resistance is the offspring of fear, and ignorance, non-resistance, is the offspring of love. And it's beautiful. In that allowing, that non-resistant place of realizing that I am not a victim. Things happen, but it doesn't mean they're not happening to me. They can happen through me. And I don't have to stay in a place that's not comfortable for me anymore. I used to create the same patterns over and over again because I wasn't paying attention. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough, smart enough. It wasn't about any of that stuff. I may not have been empowered enough to know that I could, or just never recognized it, because we're so busy doing that we don't take the time to be. And we're human beings, not human doings. But so often we are taught that the power is grabbing it, taking it, and controlling. That's not power.
Yeah, that's desperation. And when we're in that place, then that's when it slips away.
Absolutely.
And from my perspective, it's only when I learn again, because it's a continual. It's like it's never going to stop. This learning. So when I learn again to surrender to what though? And I think this is the thing for anyone that's watching this right now, is to know that we're not surrendering to a nothingness, that, or a wish or a whim, or, you know, or a maybe. This is like surrendering to this power that is this presence. It is the love, and it is the law, and it is working continually, 24/7, every moment. It's not having a tea break, and it's there as a power for good, and we can use it. And that's what Ernest Holmes said, you know, with the in here, you know, without doubt. Oh, here we go. There we go.
We have within us a power that is greater than anything we shall ever contact in the outer, a power that can overcome every obstacle in our life and set us safe, satisfied, and at peace, healed and prosperous in a new light and in a new life. That's not somewhere else. It's exactly where we are.
Yes.
And I have grappled with, you talked about surrender, and for me, I have grappled with that for years. I've, 12 steps has been in my family, for all of my life. So, there's a lot of wisdom to be found in the 12-step programs, and I believe that the 12 steps could be used for anybody. It's not about addictions. It's a way of living and honoring and knowing myself and knowing that nothing happens to me. It's all the lenses that I'm looking through. Yeah. So it's really about claiming and being on my side of the street and really knowing myself in a deeper way. And when you talk about surrender, it's giving away the lesser for the greater. If my hands are full and I'm holding tight to something that does not serve me, there is no way that I have any chance of letting something better in.
Yes, we've got to put down the stones. That's what I said in the song. I'm laying down the stones. Because if we're holding on to and our hands are filled, how can we receive any more? We have to be prepared to put down those beliefs and those perceptions that we identify through the journey of that unraveling that you're talking about. And that's why it's good to have a practitioner or a prayer partner, because we can't expect ourselves to do this on our own or others to do it. We can't see the outside of, we're the inside of the jar. We can't see the outside from the inside. So we need those observers who are independent of us to come along and assist us with the unraveling, so we can identify those beliefs that are not serving us. And when we identify them and then dissolve them, we're surrendering again to this invisible power that is always present and always loving, even if it doesn't seem like that. Even if, here in the UK, we have a real thing going on. I don't know if you've been following the news, but we had I'm not into football at all. I'm not into UK football, but we had a football match the other day.
Can I just say, for those of America, that's soccer.
Soccer.
I just want to make sure people know what you're speaking of.
Yeah.
Just in case, it's soccer here. So go ahead.
And we had a soccer match. It was a big, end of tournament one, and millions of people were watching it. And England were playing, and they lost three penalties. And the 3 penalties that were lost happened to be because 3 of the footballers didn't, let the goal into, they didn't shoot the right goal that won the goals. And sorry, you can tell I'm really good with football language here. But anyway, those 3 that had the chance at the end of the match to score that didn't score were 3 young black men. And the amount of racism and racist comments and racial abuse that has happened publicly here in the UK has been absolutely horrific for these 3, because they're seen to have not that England didn't get through to the championship, and they've been blamed, and all sorts of things, all sorts of discriminatory things have happened. And the level of faith that they are having to have right now, for themselves, to know that this isn't because of the color of their skin or their culture or how they've been brought up or what country they were brought up in, or, their family roots or origins. This is because of race consciousness and the way that we perceive things here. And we need to make these changes in the way that we accept ourselves and accept others and know oneness in everything. And these are the beliefs, aren't they, Gina? That we
the blaming, the shaming, anything like that, it takes away our own power to do it. It tries to take away another's, but it also takes away our own. We are responsible, 100% responsible for our lives. Yes, there is a race consciousness, but we get to choose what we hold in truth. We get to choose what we watch, what we say, and it is important for us to honor the truth. and you bring things like that up, and you know that in the United States we've had plenty of that, especially, I mean, our whole history, but especially over the past few years. It is, and it's important to not ignore it and deny it, but simply to reveal the truth in it. And the power is in the truth. So by saying it and revealing it and taking away that stigma of the lie, even with ourselves, it's about lovingly witnessing, having people in our lives that are that loving witness. So when you talk about working on ourselves, or it's about being that loving witness for ourselves, but also for others, and just honoring wherever they are. It's to the best of our ability. It's being in that place of love. Because that's the power.
That's the power. And it's that thing of knowing, really knowing in our hearts that the sun is shining on everyone. The divine is not saying, oh, I'm gonna shine my rays on you and not on you. We each have this in us. We are each here as sentient beings, as the unique expression, the divine unique expression of this infinite wisdom and intelligence that is pulsating through each of us. So we're responsible to see everybody as our brothers and sisters, and to know everybody as that, and to shine that light. And that's there where we're using this power. That's what I think Edwin really meant. That's there when we're standing in that power, this power, and saying, I'm going to be a part of this. I'm not going to try and separate myself from it.
And exactly. And there's actually, this is the definition in the back of the Science of Mind textbook. The definition of power by Ernest Holmes is the energy by which everything lives. Not some, everything. The creative medium of spirit is the great mental law of the universe, the universal law of mind. It is the medium through which all law and power operate. And man's creative power is marvelous, for every time he thinks he sets the law in motion, as his and her thought sets the law in motion, it is specializing it for some definite purpose. This should give to all a sense of freedom and a realization that there is neither competition nor monopoly. It leaves each to work out our own salvation, not with fear and trembling, but with a calm sense of peace and assurance. We may transmute as much of the infinite energy into degrees of power as we choose to. So there is no, there's a law that goes into motion here. And it's not about that, Power versus Force is actually a poem that I have. Because too often we try to make things happen. I don't know about you, but in my life, there's always one of the things in the 12 and the big book of AA talks about is we are actors on a stage, and if people only did what we'd asked them to do, then everything would be fine. If people just did what I wanted, it would all be fine. I always laugh at that because it's so funny, because we all have our own play of how we think things should be, but it's never about someone else. All our power is right here. So it's never about what anyone else does. It's always about my actions and reactions. And when we realize that, when we really understand that that's where the power is, and in the surrender, amazing things happen. It's letting the law be the doer, letting spirit figure it out.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at an ocean or a stream, the water doesn't stop when the rock's in the middle. It goes around. And that is law of nature. It just goes to where it's meant to fit. And when we try to force it, we just hit the rock again and again. What a visual.
Yeah, and that is for me, that is freedom. When I'm in that place of not thinking, of knowing that I can set it in motion with my intention. And then in that kind of letting go of control, surrendering to this divine intelligence that is power that is coming through me and everything, because if it knows it for me, obviously it knows it for everybody and everything. So I know it's working. I know it's working perfectly. And in that for me, there's liberation. It's like, oh, yes. Whew.
What a gift it was when I understood truly. And it took years in this to understand the gift of the law. Like it took me years. I'm a love person through and through.
Yeah,
that was what interests me. That's what I read about. That's what I enjoyed. Absolutely. So it took a long time for me to understand the gift, the true gift of the law. I don't have to force or coerce. I just allow, I claim it, and I know it, and I allow it to be. And in Wayne Dyer's Power of Intention, he says, the way to establish a relationship with spirit and access the power of this creating principle is to continuously contemplate yourself as being surrounded by the conditions you wish to produce.
Yes.
You know, what do I want? What do I choose? And being in that with joyful expectation, playing in that.
So do you think that he meant, continually contemplate yourself as being surrounded? So this is seeing and knowing ourselves from within first.
Yes.
As the conditions are surrounded by the conditions we wish to produce. So it's believing it before we see it.
Exactly.
Absolutely believing it and knowing it before we see it, because we can't rely on what we're seeing. What we're seeing is just the end result of how we used to think.
And what we're seeing, it's exactly what we're seeing today is a result of what we thought and said yesterday.
Yeah.
So what I choose for this day forward needs to be what I'm focusing on. And, unfortunately, we're raised in this tangible society of stuff. And the way we see it, when I see it, I'll believe it, keeps us stuck.
Yeah.
And what we get is more of what we see. And if we don't want that, well, saying I don't want that, the law doesn't understand that. The law only hears what you're claiming.
And that's then where, that's where it comes back to what you were talking about at the very beginning. That's where we give our power away. That's where we give our power away, when we think that we can manipulate the external rather than going back to where the source of that power, which is within. From within. It's not going to be because we're shifting things around externally. It's from that knowing of who we are within and tapping into that. That's where we're empowered. And we don't want to give our power away. We want to hold on to that and nurture it and confide in it and love that whole being in that whole communion. That's it. That's what Ernest Holmes would say, communing with this love and this power, rather than trying to find ways to make it happen with the external. Waste of time.
Yes. And that's I'm going to share my poem.
Oh, please do.
This is out of my book, Soul Purpose, and it's called Power versus Force.
Can I see the cover of your book, please?
My butterflies, of course.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Actually, did you design that?
I did, actually.
Yeah, awesome.
So yes, it is my, I have it here. Here we go. That's a better one with all the beautiful pretty butterflies. And it says, power is inherent in strength. Fear is inborn of force. Power is allowing spirit to flow through me. Force is pushing it away. Power is the overflowing of abundance. Force coerces the way. Power is grace in bloom, while force is a crushing blow. Power unfolds in perfection. Force breaks down the door. Power is a glorious embrace. Force traps and holds without choice. Power sees the internal rewards. Force seeks bigger trophies. Power's opulence is inherent, while force bullies respect. Power glows and excites. Force burns and destroys. Power surges effortlessly. Force pries between to separate. Power grows eternally, while force is scarcity at its core. Power is God's will in motion. Force is want in action. Power rests into life. Force rests from desire. Power is a peaceful understanding. Force thrusts its view upon the world. God is powerful. Force is when I do not listen again.
Oh, Gina, wow.
It's knowing that there's an allowing. It's like being on that lazy river of life. Lie back and relax and enjoy the ride. It doesn't mean we're not doing, but we're allowing life to take us to. When we do what we love, life flows.
Yeah.
We've all heard that term of being in the zone. When we're in the zone, we can do boom, boom, boom. Things just get done, and it's easy, and we are accomplishing, and it just goes with the flow. But when we're forcing and we're really trying, and we're making things happen, that's when we get stuck.
And I think also, as you were reading that, I was really listening, to these comparisons all the way along, power and force, and it just rang so true for me. And I realized that this is about, so many times people say, oh, be strong, or you've got to be strong for this, or oh, she's so strong, or he's so strong, and this isn't what this is about, being strong. In fact, it's the opposite of that. It's about not being humanly strong, not thinking we have to be strong for all of this, surrendering into this divine power that is doing the strong bit for us. Mm-hmm. We can relax into this. We don't have to be this kind of tower of strength. And, sometimes it means crying for days if that's what we need to express.
Vulnerability.
That is vulnerability, absolutely.
It takes such strength to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's very empowering to be in that place and own it.
When you think about the divine feminine, one of those characteristics is the nurturer. One of the, to me, the most difficult things I've ever gone through in life is being there at the end of life for people that I've loved, is being that caretaker, for my mom or my sister or whoever it is, and really being there through the hospital, through the doctor's visits, seeing them in pain and being there in any and every way I can be. And that takes vulnerability. Yes, there's strength, but more than anything, there's a powerlessness, other than, of course, prayer, but there's a powerlessness in someone else's care. It's being there and being flexible to their need. And usually, traditionally, throughout history, women did that more than men. Men weren't built for that. Throughout, growing up, it was the women's role to care for the sick, to care for the elders, to care for. It's not easy to be that person, emotionally available and vulnerable. And now things are changing. Of course, there's plenty of men that have cared for their parents, and I don't mean that but in general, the traditional roles were such that that's where it came from. But it's so difficult to do. There's a big difference between moving something physical and moving someone emotionally.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And that's where the power of prayer, steps in, and we can lean in on that knowing and be prayerful and use prayer as a power for good. And I think that's what Ernest would have meant as well. There's a power for good and we can use it. Well, how do we use it? And he gave us this 5-step treatment as a way of saying, I believe, this is how we can use this. Because I know when I treat, and when people are treating for me or with me together, I know I feel that shift when it's a good treatment, and I think, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm feeling it.
Well,
I believe that's
where the power is in the feeling.
Yeah. And I think that's where we can use it, where that's, for anyone that's listening now that would say, well, how do I use it? I think learning how to use 5-step treatment, affirmative prayer, and keeping it simple and just feeling the feeling and knowing it's done, I think there we're using it.
It really, treatment comes down to God is, I am, I know, I'm thankful, and I give it to you.
Oh, it's so simple.
That's it.
I love that.
God is, I am.
I am.
I claim.
I know. Yeah.
I claim and know exactly. Thank you, and I give it to you. I can't, God can, I'm going to let you. I love that statement. I say it all the time. I can't, Spirit can, I'm going to let you.
Right.
And it's not that Spirit as me is the I, is not that I. It's the little I, that human I that thinks that I'm going to make something happen, that I need to be strong enough. When you're in the ocean and there's a wave coming at you, you jump with it. And when you go with the flow of the wave, it doesn't take you under. Because when you try to stand up to that wave, it pulls you right down. So it's allowing yourself to go with that flow of the waves of life.
Absolutely. And we've all been through so much in the past year, on so many levels, whether it's emotionally or physically, mentally, spiritually. We all had our challenges, whether they've been health or prosperity or work or, family members, not relationships, all sorts. And if we can learn through these challenges to really use this power, and not just use it because we're on a high or we're on a roll with life and things are good, but to learn to use it when things aren't going so well for us, seemingly, then we're building up this faith. And I know you are really, you just love that whole topic of faith and faith and belief, and we build that faith with our treatments, that faith in this power that is always here, because we can't leave it when things are seemingly going wrong or not going right. That's when we have to be very connected again and again to knowing that this power is here, even though it looks like it isn't.
And I know for you as well, you have that power of perseverance, that you've gotten up time and time again. You've been through so many struggles, so many, human things. And in your humanness, faith is our lifeboat. That's the life raft that I get in every day to know that I'm just getting through this. Spirit's got this, and this is on the way to my destination. This is not the destination. This is just on the way. Yes, I'm here now.
I love that.
On the way, just on the way. And we just need to get up. We were talking about before this, just one more time. I'm going to write a poem. She's going to write a song, and we'll come back and share it with you.
Oh, yeah.
You just
one more time.
And
I'm going to write a song.
And, some days it feels like that. Some days it feels
one
like.
One more time.
And there's days I wake up and I say, okay, you need to do this today. I don't know where the strength would be. I don't know how it can happen. You need to do this today. And when I do that, the day flows effortlessly. I get through, and everything I need is provided in incredible ways, because I'm not trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube life. I'm letting the law and Spirit take the reins. Because that's what it's about. It's not my finite knowing, it's the infinite.
I love what you've just said. There's so many things in there, living a Rubik's Cube life. I love that, Gina. And that really brings to my heart, that when this is another difficult thing that we all find challenging, it's to step away from needing to know how.
And when.
Because we can't.
But I want to know.
And when. I want to know now, and I want it to happen now.
And what's it going to look like when it's done, damn it? I want to know. I want to know now.
Yeah.
There's a Brad in me that's alive and well, I assure you. And that's not where faith is.
No.
Faith stands in divine grace, in that knowing that what's meant for me comes to only me. When I am knowing, when I am in that beingness and knowing spirit as that absolute provider, when I am knowing and know that I know, that's when the miracles happen. That's when life starts working in miraculous ways. When I get myself, and as Emerson says, the bloated nothingness out of the way, and I allow that divine flow to happen, miracles take place.
Yes. And that is the joy in the journey. What you've just said, that is the joy in the journey. Is that for me, that's what it is continually stepping away from it and allowing this power, this presence to do its thing without trying to manipulate. We state our claim and we know it and we claim it and then we let go. That's the last part of treatment, isn't it? Letting go.
Release. Give it away.
Release and knowing that this power and presence is working.
That it's already done. That there is nothing for me. Like, I know what's my part, and I'll be shown and I will be guided to the steps to take. And I take that divine action when it comes. But until then, get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's the trick, is to just be in that faith and knowingness. That's where the sticking point is the faith. That's what causes it. In joyful expectation. I say that in almost every treatment because that's the trick. Be like a kid at Christmas that's waiting for that birthday gift, that Christmas gift. Like, you see it, it's wrapped, it's great, and just be excited. Like, what am I going to get? What's it going to look like? And I tell people to be like that when they're looking for a mate, when they're looking for that right, and I don't even like the term of job. Whatever that position is in life that's meant for you, whatever it is that we're declaring, it's knowing that, in that joyful expectation, having fun on the journey, not because I already have the thing, because half the time we get the thing and we're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
This is a society
most of the time.
Our society is bigger, better, faster, more. How long do we stay on that one thing, So it's not about what we think we want. It's about wanting what we've got.
And it's about learning how to live with less.
Yes, God knows you're one of those people that I could learn from. You would look around my house and say, "Oh no," if I wish you lived closer. And then there's a part
come
of me.
Gina. Come on then, Gina.
Come on over anytime. And it's hard to believe an hour has passed and we are here again.
It's amazing. I could be here for another 5 hours with you talking.
And I am so grateful to have you here. It has been a gift. And I just want you to talk a little bit with us. Tell us about the cosmic prayer. What is that?
Oh, well, I think I need to have a new image on there because that was my long hair days.
Your new fabulous haircut.
Yeah. And so the cosmic prayer is here every Monday on New Thought Media Network, which I love. New Thought Media Network. It's the most incredible ministering all of these broadcasts, and the cosmic prayer is one of them, where every Monday an amazing guest comes on to talk about their experience of prayer and teaching in a very kind of low-key way, but just opening their hearts up to viewers to share how prayer has impacted their lives and what prayer really means for them, and educating on how we can pray effectively, to keep that knowing and that divine communion going the whole time, every day, all day, and using prayer as a powerful tool. So it's a gift.
It is a gift.
Yeah, it is a gift.
It's not just about asking. It's living in the flow of knowing who I am, knowing my power, seeing my power, reclaiming my power. It's not like a child asking its parent for something. It's knowing that it's already mine. And when I have that mental equivalent, when I am in that place of knowing who and whose I am, I'm claiming it and in expectation of it. It's not like I was raised. It's a gift. It's a tool.
Yes. And as you're saying that, I'm just really feeling, aren't we so blessed that conversations like this, I feel really kind of like, I'm just so connected at the moment to this power. And I just think the more that we engage in conversations like this and use these tools and consciously say yes to opening up to knowing who we are and doing these spiritual practices, then we're living as that power. That's what we're doing as we're saying yes every time to this. So
saying yes to life.
Yeah.
So ntmedia.org, you can see that down the bottom. If you've been blessed by this or the many shows that we have on this tremendous network, I encourage you, go to ntmedia.org and hit the donate button. Whatever it is that you have to give, share, because you're the reason we're here. Let people know that we're here. Tell them about the network. Let them know where the good news is. We are here to celebrate. And for myself, know that you can reach me at Believe in You Today, Gina at believeInYouToday.com. I do a daily inspirational message. You're welcome to, it's called Instant Inspiration. So you can either like me on Facebook or you can go to my website and sign up for that. And you will get the instant inspirations as well. But know that we are here, both. I know you as well as myself, we do coaching, and we are also here as practitioners for sessions. So whatever it is, and how can they reach you, Laura?
Oh, my website, lauratopper.com, or I'm here on Facebook, Laura Topper Love.
Absolutely.
I can be reached on Facebook, yes.
So know that we are here and that we are spreading the good news. And, thank you for being here. Let people know that we're here and share that good news, share the likes. And remember, Woman of Power is on YouTube as well. You can go and you can watch that anytime you need to bring yourself back up again. If there's anything going on and you forget for a moment who and whose you are, you forget how powerful you were made, perfectly unique for exactly what you're here to do. Be fabulous, be brilliant, be you. That's all we've got to do. And thank you, Laura, for being that fabulous, brilliant self that you are. Oh. Thank you for shining your light to the world. Thank you for being here today. And I thank everyone for watching and being joyful with us, because it is that joy in the journey, right here, right now, where our power is. So I am here Monday nights with the Peace Circle, where we talk about peace and know and that we are the change in the world. So join me. It's 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And just know that we are here on this network to share love. And again, we've got Mama Power, and what day and time?
Oh, it's Tuesdays and Fridays at 7:30 in the morning, Mountain Time.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's 9:30 Eastern Time.
Eastern Time.
And yes, and we've got your cosmic prayer that is on
Mondays. Mondays at 12 noon Eastern Time.
So be here, and it's actually 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Well, actually, that's an old.
Oh, it's changed.
Flyer, so
Okay.
it's changed, but it is
that.
12. Yeah.
So look on New Thought Media, and you'll have the update date.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be here with us, celebrate with us, live your life as that celebration. Be joyful in your journey. May you always find joy in your path. Blessings and love to you all. Have a blessed day.
Bye.